generate any mist this morning. Just a very dewy morning. Calm winds. It's due to be calm all day. We've got tiny tides, so I'm going to head quite a long way out to a wreck. Hopefully it won't be netted. The commercial boats do tend to net the wrecks on the smaller tides. So tiny tides, we're going to do that. I've got a couple of rods not quite set up. Mackerel feathers on one, which I'll bait up, and we'll have a pass on the wreck. See what it's like. I've not fished this wreck before. Been waiting to do it, but it is quite a long way out, and we just haven't had the opportunity this year. Head out to the wreck, give it a go with some baited feathers. I've got some bait. I've got slow jigs. I have got lures, but I'll probably will give them a go. But on the small tides, it's not really that suitable for lures. But never say never. We'll give it a bash. I will get out there. Hope the conditions are similar out there. It has been a bit windy in the week, and it's all been from the southwest. So I'm predicting a little bit of residual swell, but nothing that's going to be big enough to spoil the day. So we'll get out there and we'll see what we can find. It's an absolutely stunning trip down the estuary this morning. I've snuck out of the first of the tide, just out on a single tide today, and coming down the estuary at low water, it just is an amazing place. I've seen kingfisher, heron, egrets, cormorants drying their wings on poles, redshanks, other birds that I'm not quite sure of. I mentioned these things and I can never catch them on the GoPro, but yeah, I've made tentative plans for next spring to team up with a Salcombe photography company, exposures. Not guaranteed that it's going to happen, but hopefully we'll be able to get together and on a day like this and capture some of the stunning images that I see on the trip down. We're going to wait till spring when the light's better for photography, but yeah, I'll keep you posted. Right, got a long way to go, so I'll bring you back when we're out there. Still going. There is a residual swell. It's probably about 8 foot, 10 in places, but it's so long, we're just making a nice steady 19 knots into it. I can't hold the camera very still, but yeah, it's quite smooth cruising. See you there. Well, we're out here and conditions are absolutely stunning. I just dropped some mackerel feathers down. We'll see what the wreck is like. The drift is lovely, half a knot of drift. The boat's swinging a little bit, so I'll try and make it better for the camera in a tick. I've wanted to come out here for several reasons. Firstly, I got this wreck at the beginning of the season and just haven't had the opportunity to get out and try it. But also inshore, there's been so many dolphin and tuna. I passed them on the way out today, but I haven't seen any for about the last 4 miles. And when you fish in the wrecks and reefs a little bit closer in, the fish are running scared, and where normally you'd catch sort of pollock and mackerel higher in the watercourse. Sorry, see if I can do something about this sun. Yeah, where normally you'd catch fish high up in the watercourse, everything has been right down on the bottom. Running scared from the tuna, so I'm hoping out here, like I said, I haven't seen them for. Oh. Well, the mackerel feathers have come good. yeah, hopefully the tuna are not bothering fish down here and they're sort of back to their normal eating and feeding habits. Just some baited feathers on here. Got a bit of mackerel strip on one and some little bit of strip of squid on the other. And we'll just see what the wreck is like. Oh, one just dropped off. There's another one that size. Massive scad. I thought there was a bit of weight coming up. There's two on that size. Just lost one right at the surface, so yeah, still over the wreck. I'll drop those back down again. Yeah, there's obviously some feeders down there because all of the bait has gone off all 4 hooks there. But rather than bait up as I'm just still on the wreck, I'll give this another go. What a day. I'll take this any time of year, but for October, fantastic. Nope, lost it. Got it that time. Well, it's good to know that the wreck is healthy. So yeah, a couple of passes with the mackerel feathers, see if we can pick up some nice fresh bait. Always the chance of some mackerel, of course, which would be lovely. Sun's round again, sorry. And it also proves that the wreck is healthy, so well, I didn't really want to leave the wreck. If you can't catch anything on mackerel feathers, really, there's not a lot of point in fishing a wreck. I think that sun's going to be a problem with the camera today. The boat keeps swinging, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. Two pout that time. Right, let's try this. Just rebaited the mackerel feathers. I've got a new camera mount. So you might have to just bear with me while I get that one right. Oh, there we are. You taking it? Nope. Well, I don't know what this is, but I'm suspecting it's a little bit too big for mackerel feathers, so I might have to be a bit careful with this. No, I don't know whether I had a couple of something on or whether it started swimming up, but it's just got a bit lighter. Could be a pollock that was diving. Oh. Sorry about that. My new camera mount, I've not quite got to grips with it yet. I suspect this could be a reasonable pollock. Reasonable for mackerel feathers anyway. Oh, crikey. Well, my suspicions were wrong. What do I do with this? I'll get it in and show you. I'm gonna have to go back to my old camera mount, I think. 2 bass and this huge scad. I'll get these unhooked and I'll show you what's what. Right, so that feathers haul, a brace of bass, which I am going to have to keep because they've both blown their swim bladders. And on my last fishing trip, I think it was the last one, I said it was the biggest scad I'd ever caught. Just beaten that. That is a monster. You can go back. And that's swimming away nicely. Beautiful. Right, let's get this sorted out and I'll see what I'm going to do. Now here's an interesting sight for an October day. Hold on, I will just reposition. Now, I've always associated these as being occasional summer visitors. Portuguese man of war. I wasn't intending on a swim today. I'm not going in near that. Right, back to fishing. Okay, I'm going to have one more pass with the mackerel feathers. There are several reasons for giving it a go with the mackerel feathers. I've already mentioned some of them. Check the wreck is healthy, see if it's worth actually staying here, which it obviously is. Getting some bait, which is good. I've got some bait. I've also got 2 bass, which is brilliant. But also you can see how snaggy the wreck is. It's a drift over, so you can see what the movement is. This doesn't seem too snaggy at all. Famous last words. So if it was really snaggy, then I'd probably avoid trying to stick a bait in the wreck for perhaps a ling, and maybe go with slow jigs or lures, something like that. It's not snaggy, so I'll have this pass, and then I think after this one I'll try with a bait and see if there's anything in the wreck. It's definitely full of life. I can't put the mackerel feathers down without catching something, which is brilliant. That is another great size scad, so which luckily landed in the bucket and not overboard. So I'm going to bait up now and go back round and see what we can find in the wreck. Right, the wreck is obviously very healthy with smaller fish, so I'm putting on a very large scad bait to discourage the smaller fish from eating it. And hopefully we'll be able to drop it onto something larger. Obviously looking at ling. Ling in the wreck. We're drifting at 0.5, 0.6 of a knot. That should be slow enough that I can drop this bait in there and keep it in contact with the wreck. I'm on the same drift as I was with the mackerel feathers. That didn't seem too snaggy at all. Although it is getting bitten on the way down. That's nicely into the wreck, nicely coming onto just the leading edge of the wreck. Is there anything hungry enough with a big enough mouth to take it? Something's biting it. That could be just smaller scavengers nibbling it to death. What was I saying about it not being snaggy? I found a bit of old net. I'll sort this out. There are not many things you can guarantee, but if you're wreck fishing, you're going to catch pout and you're going to lose gear. I've achieved both of those now, so hopefully they're out of the way. Be able to get on with catching some fish. I've re-rigged scad bait. I keep it simple, as you know, running boom onto Cox and Roll 7.0 and a chunky bloody fillet of scad. See if we can tempt anything with it. Nicely there, just short of the wreck, but drifting onto it. Still just got 0.4, 0.5 of a knot. Perfect. And hopefully I know where the snag is now, so I'll be able to just fish to the snag and then lift it up out of the way after. That was a bit of interest though. Nope, thought we were in there, but whatever that was is now not there. Might come back there. Let's just lift away, see if we can tempt it. Now. Did you hear that? Possibly a whale. It seemed like too big a breath for a dolphin to me. Ah, no, it's not. It's tuna. I thought it was a breath. It's tuna diving. I don't know if you picked that up, but a tuna just jumped not quite clear of the water, but almost. So the plan to get away from them didn't quite work. Brilliant. Hopefully it's just a lone tuna or a couple and it's not going to put the fish off here. Although saying that, I'm not even getting nibbles now on the bait down there. Yeah, just absolutely munched up with smaller fish. And try this. This is half a mackerel fillet from Veterans Bait Supplies. I don't feel like giving them a fair trial really. I got a load of bait from them at the beginning of the season, but the weather's been so rough, it's just not been suitable for like holding a bait in the bottom. Yeah, so although I've caught quite a few fish with their bait, nothing significant really. But this is, excuse me, this is half a mackerel fillet, and they've been packed with pig's blood. So the theory being that the blood gets in. Oh, did you hear that? That's tuna really close to the boat. Brilliant. So yeah, the pig's blood gets impregnated in the flesh, and hopefully gives a better scent trail down there. That's the theory. We'll see. But if that was a tuna, that was literally about 15 feet away from the boat. Yes, I'm not moving. I'll hopefully give them a chance to move away from me rather than me move away from them. Having tuna around is a bit like going to your local pub and sitting down for a steak dinner opposite a lion. You're not really going to concentrate on your food, are you? Well, the tuna seem to have put the fish off feeding for bait, so we'll try this slow jig. This one is a 200-gram Sidewinder Silver Halo. Let's give it a go. I will try lures, unless this is really successful. I think the tide's too slack for it. We're down to 0.3, but the slow jig more is there to imitate a dying fish, which something might want to grab, whereas a lure is there to imitate a live fish, and the predators are only on the live fish when there's a bit more tide running. It's not to say they won't eat, and I'll certainly give it a go. Slow jigging are a bit more sophisticated than they used to be. I used to call it perking when I were a lad. Then it was just sort of chrome bars cut off at a chamfer with a treble in it, but they did the same thing. You jig them up and down, they come up and they flutter down, trying to simulate a fish in trouble and hoping something will grab it. Well, it's certainly not what I wanted, but the fish are on the feed again. Hopefully those tuna have disappeared. I think we're going to spin into the sun again, but we'll try it this way around. So I've got my other rod just off the back on a light ratchet with half a mackerel, several turns up from the bottom, and this one absolutely standard, just lure setup, sliding boom, 6 ounce lead. So about 8 foot or so of fluorocarbon, and that goes to a sidewinder rattleback. It is completely the wrong tides for lure fishing. Sorry, that sun's going to wind me up today. It's completely the wrong tides for lure fishing, but the tuna have been put off the fish by the seams of it. So give it a go while we're here anyway. There's no hard and fast rules. Well, we've got a fish. The fish are on the feed. I wouldn't say it's a large fish, but it's a fish. It's a pout. Actually, I think that one might go back. It looks like it's in decent condition. I've got enough for bait, really. Let's get the million twists out that the pout always put into it. There we are. We're still on the wreck, so give it a try. Just show you this if you can see it while it's on the sounder. Hopefully you can pick that up. That's my lure gone down to the bottom, and that's the pout that I released. So it's swimming down well. You just know those little nibbles at it, it's just more pout. I don't mind catching pout, it's fine, it means that there's stuff down there. But you know, the lures are not cheap and they absolutely wreck them. Plus they tangle your line up if they just peck at it and then let go. Yeah, it can spring back and you're just fishing with a bundle down there. Yeah, completely different. That one has blown, but it's also a smaller fish, which will be nice just as a whole bait. So I'll keep that one. What was I saying about pout wrecking the lures? Bitten the tail off, so that is hopeless. It's not. There's going to be no action in that at all. Change it and try again. Well, that's a bit more aggressive than a pout. I hope. I don't know, one big bite and it's not so heavy now. I can't see anything coming up for the sun on the water, so we will see when it gets there. Thank you. That's why it was an aggressive bite. Can't even see the lure. It's in there somewhere. Right. Who fancies a cocktail? My bait tub has been out a couple of times with me. Some of it's got defrosted and then refrozen. I would normally just keep that in a bag. I was going to take it home and do something with it, ground bait style. However, it's all got whipped on. The cod slayer. We'll see. There we are in the wreck. I think I've been bitten off. Bitten through. That's 40 pounds fluorocarbon. Yeah, you never know what's down there. Something like that big bundle of stuff. Yeah, there's all rough bite marks there. Could have been a large ling, could have been a spur dog, could have been a shark of some description. Yeah. Oh well, re-rig, try something else. This wreck is in two distinct halves, and I've just been trying one half so far. So the tide's just starting to pick up a little bit, still not very much. There's not going to be much drift anyway with the very small neat tides, but what tide there is has started to pick up again. So I've switched back to a lure and trying the other half of the wreck, and we'll see if that does any good. We've got company. Normally, if the wreck or reef or whatever is riddled with pout, you can drop it down to the bottom, wind up half a dozen turns quickly, and that'll get rid of the majority of the pout. The trouble is with the tuna around is that there are no fish higher up in the watercourse. If you pull it clear of the pout, you're pulling it clear of all of the fish. So they're a bit of a nuisance. But there we are, that's fishing. More of. think what I might do is just have a look around. There's another wreck which is pretty much on my way back in. I haven't got that much time because I'm only on a single tide now, so I might just stick the mackerel feathers back on again and see if I can actually pick up some mackerel there, which would be lovely to take home. So yeah, it was a new wreck, you never know. 2 nice bass, albeit on mackerel feathers. But yeah, we'll move into to another wreck and just see if we can't have half an hour and pick up some mackerel, hopefully. Right, let's have a very quick try with the feathers. See if we can pick up some dinner. I don't know what this is, but it isn't mackerel. See if the feathers can hold on to it. Ah, lost it. That was something large, whatever it was, and it's just, yeah, the feathers are too good for it. Sorry, the feathers are too weak for it. That's incredible. He tried baits and lures and slow jigs and nothing. And then you get something really decent on baited feathers and it's not strong enough for it. Well, although clearly there are fish down there, I'm running out of time on the tide, so I'm going to head in. I may just stop because it's so calm. I'll stop and clean the boat up on the in the mackerel grounds, or what might potentially be mackerel grounds. Stick a set of mackerel feathers over and clean it up, clean the boat up. So if I catch anything there, I'll bring you back. Yeah, see you inshore. Well, there we are. I'm calling that a day. I did just drop a mackerel line down here while I was tidying the boat around. Yeah, no takers for that. Yeah, like I mentioned, a little bit frustrating when you spent the sort of the time and the fuel to get out to a wreck, but it was a new wreck. It was very slack, neap tides, so not ideal conditions, and with a tuna about, that's not helping. Anyway, excuses. It is a stunner of a day. A fabulous day. The rod's been bent all day, admittedly mostly with pollock. Sorry, not pollock at all, mostly with pout. Loads of scad on that first wreck. And 2 very nice bass to take home. I've filleted those off. One was about 55 centimetres, the other bang on 50. So very good taking size fish. A little bit frustrating also about being snapped off twice. Yeah, don't know what they are, who knows. Something very toothy. The first one definitely felt a lot of weight, and the second one, yeah, a good fish. I would imagine the second one was probably a spur dog. Don't know what the first one might have been. Could have been a shark or something like that. So yeah, not so sure. But yeah, got to dash back in for the tides now. I've pushed it as much as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Back again. I've just come to check the boat because it's got a bit breezy and put some fuel on, and I thought this trip deserved a bit of post-match analysis, if you like. Yeah, I was frustrated by the trip because I thought the wreck hadn't delivered, but thinking about it afterwards, actually the wreck delivered everything it could have done. So I got out there. It was a long way out. Yes, the tuna are an issue. That's a side thing that we're just going to have to continue to deal with. But the wreck was very healthy. There was loads of bait fish there, good pout, good scad. It produced bass on a tiny tide and at slack tide, which lends me to believe that there's probably a good healthy population of bass when the tide is running. And I hooked into a large fish, which I put down to a spur dog or a shark, because on the inshore wrecks and reefs that I normally fish on, if you get bitten off, then the spur dog is the culprit. But looking at the teeth marks in it and feeling the weight before I got snapped off, I now believe that it was actually a large ling. So lesson learnt. I normally fish with 15 or 25 pounds fluorocarbon as the terminal tackle, and I knew I was going out to a deeper wreck, a bigger wreck, so I'd up that to 40, and it was nowhere near adequate enough. So that's my fault. That has been addressed. I've now got some much heftier tackle. I got snapped off the second time, fair enough. That was with mackerel feathers, trying to fish for mackerel, and something bigger hooked into it. Now that could have been a double figure bass, it could have been a double figure cod. That one was more likely a spur dog because it took feathers. However, going back to the original point, if I had have caught lots of bait, a couple of bass, and I'd had the right gear and landed a large ling and potentially a bigger fish on the other wreck, that turns a frustrating day into an exceptional day. So I will be going back out there with the right gear, with more appropriate gear for the wreck, and I hope you'll join me. So yeah, just need the weather to improve again, and we'll go out and give that wreck a try at the next opportunity I get. Thanks very much. Cheers.